Hello and welcome to Verbling. Today's class, describe what you see. I'll be showing students an image. Hi Carlos, where are you from? Hi Amp,
Teacher,
how are you?
doing well.
Hello.
I can barely hear you.
Move the microphone. Now it's better.
That's much better.
Yeah. Where is the little boy?
He's in bed.
Sleeping?
Well, not yet. He's doing this right now.
He is complaining.
Yeah, he's complaining big time. And here's something I'm almost thinking of doing. I've got a class now, and then another class, and then later on this evening I have a class. I'm thinking of doing maybe two this evening. You guys let me know if you'd be interested in another conversation class this evening. That'd be a lot of classes
I'm
today.
going to
Maybe
be
I'll
a
take them all
label.
off.
I am not going to be available tonight.
Rats!
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go and get started a little bit. What I would like to do is I want to give you a little bit of time to tell me. Where's my phone? It's upstairs. So we won't use my phone. Amp, take about a minute and tell me what you're thinking about. It's December the 19th. Christmas is coming. What's on your mind these days?
I have to go to the supermarket to buy the ingredients for the meal. My sister is coming on 24th.
Nice.
And then we are going to go to the mass that day, and then we are going to have the dinner.
Can I come?
Then
Can I come?
sure, but I think that you are a little far.
Yeah, I am a little far.
Yes, and then on the weekend we are going to go to the house at the beach, and we are going to have the change of gift there, and we are going to stay there until Sunday, and then we are going to be back here and prepare for the end of the year. Yeah,
Sounds wonderful.
it sounds, yeah.
Great. Well, let's go on to Anna. Anna, take about a minute and tell me what you're thinking about these days.
Um, about Christmas or about this picture?
About Christmas. What are you thinking about? Because you're probably getting pretty
Okay.
busy, right?
I've been thinking about the things that I have to do. I haven't finished the decoration yet, and also I've been thinking about people that cannot afford a Christmas because last year I went to a nursery room and I brought them some gifts, and this year I'm not going to do the same because I don't have time and money, but I wish I could.
I
And
understand.
yes, and I've been thinking about people who 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 cannot have fun during Christmas, people from uh, some places like Africa and even from my country, people who are poor, who
Well,
cannot.
that's certainly part of the Christmas spirit, right? Is to not just think of ourselves, but to think of others. Thank you very much, Anna. Carlos, what are you thinking about this time of year?
Um, in my profession, normally we've got holidays on Christmas, so the most important thing for me is I don't have to work these days.
Yes. Yeah.
And the other one is I must meet with my father and mother in the capital of Spain to get the Christmas meal.
Great stuff. Well, that sounds wonderful. It sounds similar to what I'm doing. David, what are you thinking about this time of year?
Well, this is the first time I'm not thinking about Christmas as I used to. I think I'm just, I mean, Christmas plans are not, I haven't made my Christmas plan yet. I might go to California. I might go to San Francisco to spend time with my friends. I might go to Minneapolis. I might stay in Portland. I haven't decided yet because I'm not really into that yet this year. However, I'm going to celebrate Christmas with my family using FaceTime. I'm going to FaceTime them, and we do that for the last 3 years. We have been doing that, so I know I will spend time with them wherever I am. But it's now for me. It's like a time to relax. I just started my vacation, my winter break, so I'm thinking about just relaxing and I don't have to worry about shopping anything because it's already done. So it's time to rest, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the same. This is kind of my time to rest too. I won't be teaching every day, but I'll be teaching throughout the day, depending on when I've got spare time. I have to be here when my son's here, so there's a good opportunity for me to teach, isn't it? All right,
are you in Canada or are you in England?
Oh, I'm in Canada, sir.
Okay.
Right. Natasha, what's going on in your mind these days?
Okay, I suppose that in this time, people, as a rule, waiting for some miracle, and they working and doing shopping for buying gifts, presents for their children or friends or relatives and so on. And also, it's a good time for spending these with family, because I suppose that Christmas and New Year it's family holidays. Additionally, it's a good possibility to have a long holidays as well for a good rest.
I couldn't agree more. I've got 2 weeks off myself. All right, guys. Well, let's get into today's class. I'm going to give each of you 2 minutes. And instead of asking you to describe what's going on in your lives, what you're thinking about, what I want you to do is, when I show you an image, such as this one here, I want you to tell me what first comes to mind. What are you thinking about when you see this image? So I'm going to go ahead and start from the left side of my screen this time, and I'm going to start with AMP. Now, my phone's upstairs, so I don't have it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my iPad. So you won't hear when time's up. I'll just jump in and let you know time's up. So AMP, you've got 2 minutes, and I want you to tell me what first came to your mind when you saw this image.
Well, this seems a quiet place with a small cabin on it, and it's a nice picture. I remember it reminds me when I went last year in a town like 2 hours ago from away from my city with all my family, and he had these kind of lakes there, and it was fun to have a small boat to paddle there and enjoy with my family. And it's the construction made of wood, and the climb the weather was different to my city that usually is over the 30s, and in that place it's just like 18 maybe, and it was a small chapel there, and play some plays to get fun, to play the, I don't know the name in English. It's like a small soccer table with a small puppets on it, and also is the little boys and girls, and the place that where they can jump, and for us to ride horses, to ride bikes. Yeah, it was a nice place, and very peaceful like this one, and it was amazing to be there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. This is a beautiful image. It almost seems unreal to me. It's a very well shot. Obviously, it's evening time. Red sky means it's peaceful and all that wonderful stuff. Thank you. Anna, same question I posed to you. What's the first thing you thought of when you saw this image?
Okay. When I see this image, I think of the sunshine because of the colors, the orange clouds, and I think it's very beautiful. And that's a pity that nowadays people don't have time to appreciate a beautiful sunshine, or do things like that are for free and are so nice to do. And I also think of nature, and and well, I think of the pollution as well, because it's a very beautiful place and there is no pollution there. But the question is, until when, you know? And I think of Rio de Janeiro, my hometown, because it has a wonderful natural beauty there, and there is a huge contrast between man-made things and nature. And I don't know. I wish we could think of a solution to avert more pollution, you know, or to make people change the way they've been treating the environment. And also people have to slow down a little bit and enjoy things like that, like sunshine, and and that's it.
All right, thank you. A very peaceful image to me, that is. All right, Carlos, you're seeing the same image that everybody else is seeing, but I'm sure that you have something different to say. When you first saw this image, what did you think?
What I think about this image is like a mirror for me.
Tell me why.
The water. The water is like a mirror because you can see two skies, and it's wonderful.
Well, is there anything else you want to tell us?
No, everything special. It's like a holiday place. In the left of the picture, you can see a little hotel. It's very quiet. It's to having a relaxed time in summer. This image remind me a river in Brazil.
Okay, very good, Carlos. One thing I recommend is kind of focus on your hard consonants like T's and D's and enunciate those a little better, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. David, when you see this image, what comes to your mind?
Well, it reminds me of the time when I was I was on a road trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and I was taking the Pacific Highway, and there were always many moments that we have to stop and to take pictures like this. The sundown was amazing, the colors, it was pretty, but it was not a lake. I think this looked like a lake or maybe a river, but this was the ocean. So it was very nice, very pretty, very beautiful. So I think it's about peace, and I guess to kind of retouch with be in contact again, or re in contact with nature, and sometimes make me feel like one day it's going to be gone, because whether we like it or not, it's going to be gone for sure. And I'm glad that I'm able to enjoy this beautiful landscape now, because some people won't. So that's it.
I hit the wrong button. Tried to add a person instead of unmuting. I was watching a few documentaries, and we've talked about this in some of our classes. We look things that are really going to dramatically affect this century: oil, population, food, water. All these things are going to have a huge impact on our lives. And even just looking at oil, everything we've done in the past, where we had a lot of oil, we sucked it out of the ground and we made money, but after the oil went, we didn't go back and clean up those areas. We polluted those areas, and it's nice to see images like this. So I very much agree with you, David. Edson, when you see this image, what do you think about?
Once I was studying in Manhattan, in New York, and my classmates told me to go to Central Park to know the place. They told me to go around the beginning of the night, but I decided to go earlier. And then I went. I was walking. Suddenly I got astonished because I faced this kind of landscape. It was beautiful, amazing. I took many pictures this picture about this landscape. I saw birds and fish. I wanted to fish, but it was not possible to do that in such place. Even though there are a lot of fishes, but the policy is just to walk and make exercise. I don't know. And then I went back home and I told my friends about this. Central Park was amazing, amazing to know, and I told my classmates who hadn't gone there yet. I told them, please go there, the beginning of the night, and you're gonna see a very beautiful landscape, very good places at all. Because Central Park is big and depends on how long you probably want to spend. Maybe something like 4 hours. I wouldn't say, but like 3 hours walking is enough to know. I don't know. Depends on how you're gonna stop to see the place, to contemplate the place. And then yeah, I told them, please go there and take many pictures because it's really really worth to do that.
Right. Thank you, Edson. Yeah, contemplation. I mean, this is kind of one of those images you expect to get you to contemplate things. It's almost like one of those perfect images as a screensaver for your work computer when you're working, to sort of relax and, hey, realize, I'm thankful I've got a job and that I'm able to work, rather than, oh, I hate work. Thank you, Edson. Natasha, you're up. Same question to you. What comes to mind when you see this image?
Okay, looking at this picture, I remember the native countryside places where my parents were grown up. I mean that only there maybe we could see such small houses and so unbroken nature. I mean that looking at this picture, I remembered maybe early autumn because such saw so many fallen leaves, red and yellow, and maybe we can even feel cool, fresh air and odor of these leaves and land. I suppose that these places can give people a lot of rest, not only for their body, but also for their thought and brain as well. Because in these places we couldn't think about our job, about our routine, about something, problems, issues, and so on. Maybe it's only for I mean that in these places we might and maybe even should think about our soul. I mean not religion. I mean about maybe goal which we have living there on this land, or about something, I don't know, maybe a deep feeling such as love, such as I don't know, our close people, children, relatives, our relationships, and
Thank
so
you.
on. Okay.
Perfect. All right. So obviously you guys are a very thoughtful, self-reflecting moment right now. That's awesome. And I'm going to continue with these types of images. In the last week, we've had some pretty controversial topics that we've discussed, and I want this class to help us reflect a bit more and try to not get into the darker topics. So the next image is very different set of colors to bring on a completely different set of memories. You'll see that it's got some very primary colors in it. Let's see here. Look at this one here. So we've got what we call big sky here, and as you can see, David standing in the background. You know, with his tree, David. So I'm sure we'll get some wise remarks from David. So I'm going to go back and start on the left side again. I'm going to go with AMP. Completely different image here. What comes to mind when you see this image, AMP?
Yes, that reminds me when I traveled to the beach in our way to the beach, the nearest beach from my city. You can find this kind of landscape in some areas, and yeah, it is sunny, so very clear, and sometimes you can find some small animals there, like cows or group of animals in the middle of the highway, but it's generally crops. In this season, for example, you can find a lot of trees filled of mangoes, and also in the border or the highway you can buy these products, because all this area is very productive. And yeah, there are small houses there around, and it's a nice view, very clear, and pretty green in this season that is started the rain, and it is the season that you generally go to the beach because of the water is warm. And yes, it's just starting because after Christmas, at the end of the year, people goes to the beach, and it's very popular to travel in this season. And yeah, you can buy products if you want, and also on the beach you can find coconuts.
Coconuts.
Yep.
Thank you. Now, AMP, as well as everybody else, I'm noticing some lazy D sounds out there. So remember, we want to be voiced here when we have the TH sound, like that. That. It's the T and the D sound, and what we need to do is when we see the TH, we need to block the air. And that puff of air gives us the. Okay, so a reminder to all you guys, as you're talking, try to keep that in mind. All right, Anna, what comes to mind when you see this image?
Okay, this image, doesn't she appear as if she was real for me? You know, the sky seems to be real, but I don't think the rest of the picture is real. I think it is photoshopped or something like that. It's very interesting, the contrast between the colors and David alone in the background there, you know, just a single tree. It's very interesting. I think it's a piece of art, and maybe the artist is trying to raise awareness about the environment, you know, the last tree, the last survivor. I don't know, maybe. The cloud reminds me when I was a child, and I used to spend vacations at my parents' farms, and we used to look at the sky and imagine, you know, uh, the the images that the clouds were appearing, you know, like I can see a pig, I can see a hedge, and all those things, you know, and we could see a lot of things there, and it makes me a bit nostalgic somehow. Um, how many seconds left? Okay, yes, that's all. It's a beautiful image. I think there is a river near the horizon.
All right.
I don't know.
Thank you very much, Anna. Carlos, it's your turn.
Okay. This picture reminds me when I traveling from one part of the country to another, because I am into agriculture zone. So I think this kind of ground is for cereals, because the color of the floor of the underground is yellow, like the cereals. Into the other part of the picture, the sky is sunny, so I think it's a part of a country when the sun is shining all the time, like in summer. And the tree is not important. The tree is because this is an agriculture ground, and the tree is not normal in this kind of grounds. Into another part, I can't see it in this posture more. Okay? Is enough the description?
Well, it's up to you. You still have a minute left.
No, yeah, I think so. Yeah, sorry, sorry,
If
teacher.
you want to talk less, it's up to you. Everybody would love it if you talked less.
Yes. When I'm seeing this kind of grounds in my country, normally I see a machine working on that. Okay, the machine is doing packets with the cereal to get food to the animals what normally are in this kind of ground. So it's part of the nature. It's part of the nature, this kind of place. And one thing I don't understand is why the clouds in some part are very stronger, and into another part of the picture the cloud is difuminate.
Okay, well,
Something
time is up,
like,
unfortunately, but I'm curious. A lot of you are just having troubles with this image. It just doesn't seem real. It seems fake. I don't see that at all. I see this as kind of one of those prairie pictures where in the background you've got a crop. Here, this is probably a mustard crop. But yeah, it doesn't seem fake to me. This seems like a very typical shot you'd see on a prairie. All right, David, let's see what you can talk up. What comes to mind when you see this image? Faked Photoshop or something from your past?
No, definitely something from my past. I remember when I was going to Wisconsin. I was driving from Minneapolis to Wisconsin, and we have to go through these beautiful fields of gold. Beautiful, nice. I think it was corn crops, and it was nice to see. We drive for miles and miles, and we can see these beautiful, gorgeous colors. And we didn't see the tree though, but in the sky and the contrast between the colors of the fields and the sky, and it was a summertime and it was hot, but it wasn't that hot because we were in the fields, so that we have some wind coming over us. It was a good time. I was on vacation. I was with some friends. We were traveling to see other friends, so it brings back good memories to me. And yeah, I wish I can go back to that time and enjoy those moments too. But I know also that more beautiful moments are waiting for me to be explored and to be enjoyed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those moments again, here in where I am now, and probably in other cities. So I don't think it's Photoshop. I think it's very. It sounds like a Photoshop because sometimes it looks so beautiful that sometimes it looks unreal. But no, I have been able to see places like this, and I'm glad that we still have places that we can reflect, enjoy, and be ourselves. I don't know how much time I have left.
You have just about 20 seconds left.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. A little boring. Prairies are not known to be as exciting as mountain ranges, but
it depends on what you make out of it. I think that's the bottom line. You can go even to be on an island, nothing, but what you make out of it is what really matters, not what you see.
Indeed. Thank you, David. Edson, what do you see in your mind? What do you think about when you see this image?
I remember once when I went in a farm, my grandparents' farm, with my cousins. We went. We had a very good time of fun, because we could not. We had no place to, because we like smoking, but we couldn't do it in front of our parents or aunts or uncles. Then we had to have a place to do it. So we went in a place near the such this tree, long tree. It was just the one place that we could hide from our relatives. Then we started smoking, but it was fun this day because suddenly my uncle saw us doing that smoking and suddenly take my cousins and start to hit them, and they had almost to swallow the cigarettes because they were, in my opinion, they were very very bad punished. Like, it was okay, just take the cigarettes from them, that's it. But he almost did they swallowed the cigarette. But my sister who did this this moment, he just left us, like, um just saw the scene, observing the scene, and make fun of us, actually.
Oh,
And
thank you very much. Thank you, Edson.
Okay.
But don't go around hitting too many people, okay? All right, Natasha, go ahead. Tell us what comes to mind when you saw this image.
Okay, it's interesting picture. Absolutely agree with the previous speakers. It's like sunny and desolate. And looking at this single green tree, which is in the middle of the yellow field, it's really very interesting. And when I look at this picture, I don't know. I don't know why, but I remembered my past when I was a child, and this interest and this sunny field remembered me fields from my childhood. I mean fields with cereal. Um, they really were not sad, desolate, and there isn't trees, but maybe sunny and feeling of calming, feeling of absence of wind. It's remember my childhood. So the sky is interesting too, because these two clouds, it's like different things. I mean that look in the sky, these clouds always think about warm and something fluffy. But when you remembered what is the clouds, you always know that they're wet and cold. So it's like our life, maybe, yes, ups and downs, warm and cold, and looking at these calm pictures, you cannot predict
Thank
what.
you. Time is up. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the way you described that. The way you talk, it's very much like telling a story. Okay, Ruxia, hello, you just joined us.
Hello.
Hello, where are you from?
I'm original from China.
China, so where are you right now?
I'm in US.
US. What part of China are you from?
Shanghai.
Ah, so right in the center there on the coast. Shanghai is a very big city.
Yeah, on the coast.
Okay, terrific. Well, what we're doing now, how do I pronounce your name?
Rusha or Raksha, either is fine.
Okay, Rusha. Rusha, what we're doing here is we're looking at an image, and based on the image, we're describing the first thing that comes into our mind. It might be a memory. It might be something from our past, or it could just be something that inspires us. I'm giving each student 2 minutes. So if you would like to go ahead and take 2 minutes to describe what comes to mind when you saw this image.
I actually, I told you I was from Shanghai, but I was from suburb of Shanghai. So, and my parents are farmers there, and when I spent my childhood, it just basically I grew up on the farms, and so this one just reminds me the farmer, the scenery I used to see when I was there.
What did you farm?
So just there's variety of stuff. It's not like the U.S. farmer. They actually farm for most for commercials. But in China, when it's maybe 10 or 20 years ago, it's mostly people just doing farms not for profit, just a little bit just for their own living. Like they can have foods, but they don't need to buy foods, but they don't make profits, a lot of profits either. It's not commercialized, and there's no mechanical. it's not mechanicalized, so people do the farming on their hands, so it's very inefficient and very hard.
Very inefficient, but it's also sustainable, right? It's you're not using pesticides. All farming's hard work.
You do use pesticides.
Really? Oh, you ruined it for me.
Yeah. So I'm guessing I'm running out of the 2 minutes limit. So what I'm saying is it reminds me of I spent my childhood. So the yellow stuff so there's a certain plants that they'll be like yellow, especially I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Your time is up, but I enjoyed hearing about that because I love food, and I love especially food from the farm, food that's fresh. I also love a lot of Chinese vegetables too that thankfully we can get in this country. So yeah, I love food, especially Chinese food. I eat Chinese food all the time. My wife's Chinese, so.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I'm going to bring up a different image. Look at this. It's I don't know what it is, but lately the classes have been going by very fast. So we've got 18 minutes left. That gives us enough time for another round. But what I want to tell you guys, since you're all here now, is I have 3 more classes today. That's right, 3. The next class is a game class, and don't think it's silly. We have fun, and yes, we play games, but they're mind games. 20 questions, for example. I will think of an object. It could be a tissue or Kleenex box like this, and you guys have to guess what it is by asking me questions such as, is it big? Can I eat it? Is it alive? And by asking these very general questions, we're eliminating choices. We're eliminating choices. We're not trying to guess what it is by saying, is it a computer? Is it a car? You'll never get there. So we're doing that right, well, I'd say in about 18 minutes. And then after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours after that, I've got 2 conversation classes. Okay? And what I do in these classes is I'll show you a video. And I think a lot of it's going to be travel-based. And after you've watched the video, we're going to do some role-playing. Just like talk radio. I will have somebody who's the presenter, somebody who's a guest on the talk show, and then everybody else is calling in, and you guys are dynamically portraying or role-playing a certain role. And these are a lot of fun, and generally these classes go very fast. So I have 2 of those this afternoon, so book a spot now because my Saturday classes go very quickly. All right, so I've got 12 minutes left. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you. I'm going to give you each a minute this time, and I'm going to pick a very unique image. Yeah, no, maybe not so unique. Let's try this one instead. Reminds me of New Zealand. All right, so back to AMP. AMP, I'm only going to give you a minute of talk time this time. Let me just log back into my iPad. So, AMP, what comes to mind when you see this?
Yeah. My last trip to the Andes region with mountains and this kind of landscape with animals. Just you can see different kinds of animals around the harvest, the crops, and people working there. There was a place that I felt like I was pretty close to this area when I went to the Inca Pirca ruins, and around this area, the way that, well, the man that was the driver, he just was through this path that it was around the potato crops and people working there, animals from this area, just eating the
Time is up. You're making me hungry. I'm thinking of lamb with a green mint sauce and roast potatoes with broccoli or Brussels sprouts. But I'm going to stop talking because I'm thinking of food and I shouldn't. Anna, what comes to mind when you see this image?
Okay, it reminds me my parents' farm. Of course, the landscape was not equal to this one, but it was somehow similar to this one, and um, well, it reminds me my childhood, to spend vacations at the farms. You know, I used to raise a different animal each time, and once I raised a lamb there, and it was awesome to ride my horse, see the freedom, and that's all.
Okay, we raise sheep, we eat lamb. The meat is called lamb, the animal is called sheep. So we'd say sheep. I raise.
Okay, thank you. How can I call a small sheep?
Sorry?
A small, uh, like a puppy, a small
I
sheep.
don't know. I'm sorry. I haven't been on a farm in years, and sheep aren't very popular here. I honestly don't know. You know what? You can call them baby sheep. A lot of people will do that in English. If you don't know what they're called, like cows or calves, and ducks or ducklings, baby geese or goslings, we'll say baby geese, for example. Okay? It's quite common to do that. All right, next, Carlos, you've got a minute. Tell us what came to mind when you saw this. Did you think of a nice Christmas lamb dinner?
No, this time reminds me another time, a part of my country when I traveling all the time. And this is the north of Spain. It's raining a lot. That is the reason the ground, the landscape is very green. And in this case, the cheese are running free, eating the grass, and this kind of alimentation of this kind of food produce in the sheep a special milk. With this special milk, here we can do very nice cheese. So here in my country is the cheese of the normal cloud, no, the cheese of.
Sorry, I've got to stop you.
Okay.
But thinking of that lamb, I put a little description here. We call them sheep or ovine. Meat is called lamb when they're younger, and mutton from the older ones. That's what we call the meat. And let me try to find baby ones, and I'll get you that definition shortly. David, you've got a minute. Go ahead and tell us what came to mind when you saw this. Were you thinking of Christmas dinner?
Not at all. It reminds me when I was on my way to see the Machu Picchu in Peru, because we have a lot of landscaping like this. There was a lot of green areas and mountains, and there were also, we didn't have sheep, but there was a lot of llamas and vicuñas, and it was just gorgeous in the sun. It was a little cold, but it was like this, green all over the place. So yeah, that was the time when I went to see the beautiful ruins, Machu Picchu, Peru. If you have a chance, go there.
Will do, sir. I would love to visit South America, especially Chile, too. I like the south where it's cold. Sorry, Brazilian friends. The Brazilian heat would probably kill me. I'm British after all, so we're used to the very, very north. I like colder climates. All right, thank you very much. David Edson, my friend from Brazil. What came to mind when you saw this image?
Yes, I remember when my grandpa was teaching me how to crop, and rice and beans and fruits and so many other vegetables. It was not difficult, but it was not easy as well. But he knew a lot how to do it, and he taught me a lot. And then nowadays I know how to do it very well, and I do it not very often. But apart from the cropping, I also remember when I was hiking the mountains in my grandparents' farm. Was very big, and I just staying waiting for the weekend to go for hiking with my cousins. It was very difficult to do it because I had no experience.
Thank you. Time is up. Got to stop you, I'm afraid. Guys, help me with the time here. I hate cutting you off. I'm going to have to get my phone and charge it so it does it instead. Natasha, what came to mind when you saw this image?
Okay, first of all, looking at these green and high grass on these mountains and sun shines, yes, behind these mountains. I remember Crimea, where I was in my childhood. I don't know, I suppose that all these nature the same with Crimea, but maybe only climate are different. And also, this sheep reminds me my childhood as well, because my grandma had her own house in countryside, and my parents there raised a couple of sheep. So when I was a child, I really very liked to go to them and give them a hot bread. They liked it, and we were friends, I suppose. So during all summer, I
Sorry, time is
fed them. Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, Rusha, what comes to mind when you see this? Memories of the farm again?
No, actually, it's not anywhere similar to my hometown farmer because we don't have mountains there. But it reminds me of Pennsylvania. So I've living in Pennsylvania for 1 year, so there's a lot of mountains and up and downs there. So when I drive on the highway, I can see those. Like different layers of, is that called terrace or?
Terraces. Let's see, different layers. Like for rice paddy fields. Yeah, you would have terraces or the steps.
Yeah, but we cannot see that in this image. But
no, you can't.
I was just thinking, it's because Pennsylvania, there's a lot of farms, like the land like this, and that's what I think in 1 year. So
terrific. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, Pennsylvania, that's not too far from where I live. It's a very sort of quiet state, especially in the north.
Yeah.
Obviously, Edson had to go in a rush. We got a few minutes before this class has ended. Well, about a minute, because I have to get ready for the next class. I need some water, stretch my legs, and then I'm back here in about 5 minutes. So I really encourage you guys to come to my next class. It's a lot of fun. But coming up in about 5 hours, those are the really, really fun classes where you guys really get to participate, have a lot of fun. You get to act. We're going to do some traveling. And some other things. So really, if you can make it, book a spot in those classes. I know that the last class today will probably be booked up because nobody else is teaching at that time. So guys, thank you so much for coming, and enjoy the rest of the day, or see you in a few minutes. Thank you, guys.
See you later.